Hi there! Today we are going to adjust the columns so they fit our needs better. Probably the most commonly used adjustment is to rename a column. A good column name should describe the contents accurately and be concise. Let's say in our customer dataset, we found out that the contact name should actually be the name of the salesman. So we might want to rename that column to make it clear. To do this, you need the rename function, data.rename, and you should tell it that it is the columns that you want to rename. So columns equal, and here we should pass a Python dictionary with the original column name as the key and the new name as the value. For example, to rename the contact name to salesman, we write contact name and followed by a colon and salesman. Looks good. Run this. You can see here the column has been renamed to salesman. You can also rename more than one columns at a time. Simply add another item in dictionary. For example, we're going to rename the customer ID column. Well, we actually shouldn't because this name is already very accurate, but for demonstration purpose, who cares? So let's do this. Another thing is the column name is not limited to a word, so you can even put a sentence there. Since we are already messing our data up, to make it worse, we change the name to aha, you are messed up. Yes, looks good. Run this, and you can see our data is pretty messed up now. Please notice that here no change was made to the original data, because by default, the rename function returns a new data frame with the results. We are not storing the results here, so they will be renamed, displayed, and discarded. Our data is still the same. You can see this by simply printing it out. Data and run. Okay, now we move to rearrange our columns. If you want some important columns to show up first, you should pay attention here, because unfortunately, we cannot rearrange the columns in one line of code. But the good news is the process is not complicated anyway. The basic idea is, first we should get a list of the column names. Then rearrange that list, and finally set our data frame to follow the order of the list. One step at a time. Let's do this. To output the column names to a list, we first do data.columns and run. This will give us a list of column names, but it is not a standard Python list. It's inconvenient for us to modify it. But we can do .toList to change it to Python list. Run, and you can see it's a standard list. You are already quite familiar with lists, so go ahead and slice it, pick one columns, or do whatever you want. Okay, let's save this list to a variable named calls. Now we can modify this list to fit our needs. Let's say I want to reverse the order of the columns. So calls equals calls, colon, and -1. Remember what this means? We talked about this in previous lectures. It's basically saying that from the beginning to the end, pick item by a step of -1. In short words, to reverse the list. Now, let's reorder our data frame. Simply put data and calls. That's it. Run this, and the columns has been reversed. You can also apply the new order by the ix indexer. Data.ix and select all rows, comma, and give it calls. Run this, you get the result. It's the same. That's all for this lecture. Thank you for watching, and I will see you guys in the next lecture.